We have made it to week 17 of the NFL season, and more importantly, a new year as well. So happy new year to you all out there. May it be a prosperous, productive, and a profitable one from a betting perspective. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here, and I've got 4 NFL selections for this Sunday card for you. And may I also remind you that that little subscribe button is right down there in the corner. So make sure you click on it and subscribe so you don't miss another video report, because I am going to be here right through March Madness. And for baseball too, do you realize spring training is less than 2 months away? The start of the regular season, less than 3 months away. It seems like only yesterday that the Astros and Phillies were wrapping up the World Series, right? But yes, it's right around the corner. And the best way to make sure you don't miss another video report and any promotions is by clicking on that subscribe button. I have been on a red hot roll in the NFL. Over the past 6 weeks, I have won 9 out of 10 best bets after cashing in with the Chargers, my last selection on Monday night. But we have to take a look at who's been making money for you all year in terms of NFL teams, and no ifs, ands, or buts. The best money maker, the Cincinnati Bengals, who I have used each of the last 3 weeks as my best bet. The Bengals 12-3 against the spread this season, but going back to last year, they have covered 20 out of 23. Of course, they've got that big Monday night game I'll be talking about in a couple of days with the Buffalo Bills. The New York Giants, a game that I'm going to break down for you in just a moment, against the Indianapolis Colts, have covered 11 out of 15 times this year. The 49ers, thanks to that great defense, stingy as hell, they have reeled off 6 straight point spread victories. That is their longest such streak in Vegas since they covered 8 in a row back in the 2011 season. The Lions had covered 7 in a row until they absolutely collapsed defensively at Carolina last week. But I'm going to break down their game at home against the Bears this week. At the other end of the spectrum, well, that would be Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. After opening the season with 2 straight covers, they have since gone 1-11-1 against the spread. And I'm telling you, Joe Q Public continues to lose money believing in Brady and the Bucs. Big, big mistake. First game up, Jacksonville at Houston. Cheap price. Jaguars, -4 earlier in the week, now -3 as I shoot this video for you on Saturday morning. Why has the line dropped? Because it's been a one-sided series, all dominated by the Texans, who have won 9 in a row straight up, 15 of the last 17 in the series since 2014, including the October 9th meeting in Jacksonville when they prevailed 13-9. And also keep in mind that this is a Jacksonville team that prior to beating Tennessee on December 11th had lost 14 consecutive division road games. So why is Jacksonville the play? Because they've got momentum, because they've got a Super Bowl winning coach in Doug Peters who knows how important it is to win these games, and because they're simply the better team. Now, you ultimately have probably heard that this game is meaningless for the Jaguars. And it is, because next week's game against Tennessee is the game that counts, because the winner of that game claims the AFC South title and gets the automatic playoff berth. But momentum is key, and I'm telling you now, Peterson will have his team ready to go. Texans have been playing better with that 2-quarterback system, but they're still the Houston Texans. And the fact is the Jaguars also have another inherent advantage here. They have the extra rest because they've been idle since that victory against the Jets on the road 2 Thursdays ago. Trevor Lawrence has been the hottest quarterback in the NFL over the past 7 weeks, a stretch in where the Jaguars have gone 5-2. His quarterback rating in that stretch, best in the pros, 108.2, 14 touchdowns passing, 2 touchdowns rushing, 1 interception. Go with the Jaguars, dirt cheap price, and at this price, -3. Again, when the line is 3 or 4, I am always buying down the half point on the favorite. It's a smart financial strategy. Go with Jacksonville, -3. The Detroit Lions last week, I'm pretty sure the Lions went to Carolina and a high school team actually took over for their defense, because that effort that the Lions put forth, it was criminal at Carolina. The Panthers took them to the woodshed. I don't know what happened to the Lions defense. The Lions defense had given up an average of 19.7 points the previous 7 games. That was not the Lions defense that was on the field at Carolina. And defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, I don't know what was wrong with him. I mean, a total brain freeze in that game because the Panthers smacked them around. First half of that game, Carolina had 364 yards. 240 of them were on the ground. Instead of coming out of their base 4-2-5 defense, putting a third linebacker, bringing them up, instead of stacking the box, trying to stop the run, Glenn did nothing all game long. And Carolina just kept running and running and running. They had 320 yards rushing on the ground. So, I mean, it was just incredible watching that game. A Carolina team that struggles to score points suddenly, is putting 30 plus on the board. So now the Lions need to win this game today. Need to win this game in order to keep their faint playoff hopes alive. Thankfully, the Chicago Bears come to town and they've lost 8 straight games. And in that 8-game losing streak, they've given up almost 33 points a game. Now, can they cover? That's the question, guys. First game, the first meeting this season, Detroit won 31-30 at Chicago. And they had a real problem containing Justin Fields because what do the Bears do? They run so well. In fact, the Bears are number 1 in the league when it comes to running the ball. 179.7 yards a game, rushing. The good news is the Bears don't do anything else well offensively. Don't have any good wide receivers. Fields is just an adequate passer. But then again, when you're playing behind the second worst offensive line in the NFL, one that's already given up 50 sacks, only the Broncos with 51 have given up more. It's kind of hard to really get any type of aerial show going. But I like the Lions here, and I'm willing to lay the 6 points because the one thing the Lions shown me this year is they have intestinal fortitude, and they have the ability to keep coming back because that's the type of spirit that their head coach, Dan Campbell, has instilled in them. So I'm going to go with Detroit, and I think it's going to be another high-scoring game, and I like the Lions to come back here and get the big win where they need it. The New York Giants are a 5.5-point favorite at home against Indianapolis. Do I really have to say anything more? Because the Colts suck. Didn't we just see this on Monday night, how bad the Colts are? 5 straight losses. They're going to go with Nick Foles again. Did we see how Foles struggled on Monday night? May I just say again, the Colts suck. I don't really think I have to break this down for you any more than that. What did they expect? Nick Foles had run the scout team all season long prior to the week before being named the starter against the Chargers on Monday night. He hadn't even worked with the Colts offense all season long. Third quarterback to start for the Colts this season. Same results. Isn't that the definition of insanity? Expecting something different? The Colts suck. The Giants are going to win this game, and they're going to cover. The Giants have done a great job, as I pointed out earlier, against the spread. That is why the Giants are going to get the job done. Now, 5.5, as I always like to say, is like being out on an island. You got to win by a touchdown. I have no problem with that. Even though the Giants haven't beaten anybody here of late. Because remember, this is a Giants team that other than beating Washington and Houston, what can I say? After a 6-1 start, they're 2-5-1 since. And the only victories have come against the Commanders and the Texans. But I'm going to go with the Giants in this spot. Indianapolis also has a couple of key injuries in their secondary. Cornerbacks Kenny Moore II and Isaiah Rodgers, both injured. Matter of fact, Rodgers placed on the injured reserve list earlier this week. Once again, Giants minus the points. That's going to be the play there. Your next one is going to be Kansas City, minus 12.5 versus Denver. You may be familiar with the Broncos having a little turnover issue in terms of their personnel after getting blown out by the Rams. I know Kansas City hasn't covered the spread that frequently this season. I know Kansas City certainly hasn't been a great home chalk this season. But can you tell me what the Broncos have done for you lately? And with the turmoil and turnover in the coaching staff, how can you possibly go with the Broncos here? Why is Kansas City only a 12.5-point favorite? The first go round in this series, well, we know why Kansas City didn't cover. It's because Patrick Mahomes threw 3 interceptions and the Chiefs nearly gave up all of a 27-0 lead. But this has been a one-sided series. In fact, the Chiefs are seeking their 7th consecutive season sweep of the Broncos. They've won 14 in a row overall straight up in the series. Why not lay the points? You think the Broncos are suddenly going to play great just because they made the coaching change? It ain't going to happen. Lay the points, look for the Chiefs to win by at least 17. Now, of these 4 plays I gave you, the way I would rate them would be, are you ready? The Giants and the Jaguars would be in the top tier. The Chiefs, believe it or not, would be tier number 2, and the Lions would be tier number 3. FYI, if you want my best bet, which is going to be, are you ready? The Eagles and the Saints game, as I go for winner number 10 out of 11 in the NFL, plus all the plays of all the handicappers, you can get it via the one-day free all-access pass. Normal price is $109. You get it for free. Simply check out the one-day free all-access pass trial offer over at thesportsadvisors.com. It's that simple. Or at DeMarcosports.com. It doesn't matter. They are one and the same site, all the same handicappers, the exact same offer. One day, free all access pass. Check it out. The only way you lose is if you don't take advantage of the offer. My pick is normally going to be $88. The one day all access pass for all the handicappers is normally $109. If you bought all the plays of all the handicappers individually, it would cost you well over $1,000. You get it for free. One day all access pass. Check it out now. I wish you well, guys. And again, Happy New Year to you all. And we'll talk to you again next week. Good luck, everybody.